I'm Michelle Lott. I am the founder and principal of Lean RAQA. We help small to mid-sized companies navigate their regulatory pathway requirements all the way through their submissions and into their quality management systems. I have worked with RAPs in several different capacities, but most recently on creating a series on educating people on how to do the regulatory pathway assessment process from the ground up. A regulatory pathway assessment is really the building block of a regulatory strategy. So anytime you have a new product or modifications to a product or an intended use, you need to scavenge the FDA databases to find out what are the basics of that product, what are its product code, what are the optional submission paths and strategies? Do you need to have a conversation with the FDA through the Q submission process? What are those types of questions that you need to ask? So the course series covers basics. It's like broken down in almost a 101, 102, and some are extra credits approach. And it goes fairly intricately through how to use the FDA databases, how to interpret them, and then how to draw strategic conclusions from what your options are. I think there are two primary groups of people who are going to find this particular series really helpful. And the first group is people who kind of started their career like I did and work backwards from quality or maybe even design and development from one discipline into the regulatory discipline, and they need some more of those fundamental skill sets. I think the other one will be somebody who's new to regulatory affairs in general. I think particularly anybody that's working at a startup or a small to mid-sized company where you have to wear a lot more hats and where you also don't have very many mentors in-house. I think both sets of those would really benefit from this series of coursework. I just got these jobs where I had to wear that hat and I was the only one to do it, so I had to figure it out. And so I'm hoping to kind of circumvent that what can be a painful process and a trial and error process for people taking this course. It will really help expedite the learning and help you draw more meaningful conclusions much earlier on. I think it's making the pathway assessment something real and tangible and translatable to their executive management. Most of you have probably seen my website where I make the joke that I'm a grief counselor. Well, a lot of those executive management types in the startups and the small companies have a lot of trouble coming to terms with what the requirements of their product are, how long it's going to take, what kind of testing, how much money it's going to take. And so I think that crossing that bridge with executive management strategy is one of the biggest and most challenging pieces.